Good afternoon, or almost good evening. I'm the last one of the day, so cheer me on, why don't you? I'm going to need reading glasses because I've made some notes. What I want to do is I want to weave through some of the activity that we've been up to as Lamor Corporation and share what we're doing and try and distill some of these elements down with the relevance for India. So that's my mission. I've been tasked to talk this afternoon. You're tasked to listen. If you finish before me, let me know. Changing slides like that, there we go. Here's our mission. It's quite a tough call, really, to clean the world. That's what we've declared to the stock exchange, and that's what we're about. We're not going to be able to do it on our own, so we're very much inviting you to come along for the journey and be part of that mission with us. A little bit about me that you've heard, so I don't need to dwell on it, but I've had a very lucky or an unlucky career that started me off with major incidents and has really kept me there and has had me working with some really fantastic people throughout my career. So this is me, and I'm here all day tomorrow, so if you've got questions, thoughts, please do tap me on the shoulder as we go. But it's not about me. So the corporation, Lamor Corporation, we are a Finnish company by origin and a family company by origin. And that's really important because when you join Lamor as an employee, which I did 3.5 months ago, you become what we call a Lamorian, and it's very much a family entity and you're very much involved. We started off originally with equipment. We were an equipment manufacturer that came out of a family shipyard, and we expanded very quickly to delivering on that promise with the equipment by making it work. You make a piece of equipment, you take it to a client, they say, well, show me, and you find yourself actually in operations and you find yourself delivering on the promise that you made, as Michael will also have shared with you from the Desby story. So we've had to change to meet the needs of our clients and the situations that we find ourselves landed in. You can't just turn up with a lot of equipment and there are people who don't know how to use it and you say, but we're just a manufacturer. No, that's not the case. You suddenly become a counter-pollution service provider. And we've been nibbling at that for a while. What we've now done is, again, declared back to the stock exchange and said, actually, we are in that business and we're setting up a mainstream to make it happen. And then to cap that out and to allow us to clean the world with our major mission, we're very much taking the lead in waste management and remediation. And I'll share some of these with you and exactly drill down as to how it's so relevant and important to us right here in India. Lamor, headquartered in Finland, is spread across the world. We've got a really, really great footprint of people. Some of them are in-house Lamorians, but a lot of them are just the people that regularly do business with us, operate as agents, operate as part of our team, and become ad hoc team members as we go. A solid footprint with over 100 countries of core operation and over 1,200 individuals to be able to call on, even though our core personnel is a quarter of that in-house. That's the sort of company bit. Now let's look at some of the attitude, strategy, and where we're going with that. We provide oil spill response services. That's something, as I've shared with you, happens because we make the things that do the cleanup. So if you're making the things that do the cleanup, you need to make sure people can operate them right. So by accident, we became quite involved. And I would say we are up there in terms of spill response for major incidents. And again, I will share with you how that is a relevant statement to make. In terms of waste and water treatment, to be able to clean the world, we wanted to move away from a statement that was made earlier on today, where we talk about the way our industry has embraced NEBA, net environmental benefit analysis. Well, we felt net environmental benefit was just a good start point. And what we want to do is a positive environmental benefit when we get called in to react to a disaster, a crisis, an incident, or an event. So waste and water treatment has become a main line for us, as has the remediation side. And we've got some real excitement on the remediation side, which, if I'm honest, takes me back to when I started in the industry using bacteria-impregnated bran in the state of Texas to clean up swamp spills. We never really knew if it worked back then, but we've developed the science, the understanding and the learning to take that forward and not have guys in bass boats with bran flakes, but actually do this properly. And I'll share with you again why it's important that I labour that point in this room. We're also moving more and more towards what we know is a circular economy. So when we're taking stuff out, when we're working with resources and materials, we absolutely want to make sure that we are putting it back in the right way. So if we recover plastics, if we can make sure those plastics are treated, are handled correctly and recycled correctly, they can go back in the stream, they can go back into society to be used as a raw material rather than generating more. So global mass balance on all of these things is really important. Yes, it's a sea change and a step away from oil spills, but for us, it's the same thing. You turn up on site and there's oil spilt there, but there's debris, there's plastic waste, or there's something else which is upsetting our global ecosystems, hey, clean it up. We're here to clean the planet. That's what we've decided, and that's what we're going to do. Come on that journey with us. So technology, equipment, materials, all the things we're proud of still really matters. We've got some fantastic things for cold water. I know you're not going to hear that in New Delhi very often, but we can deal with spills and ice better than just about anybody else who's out there. But we can also deal with the deep water, the near shore, the onshore, and we've made sure that we are making and innovating equipment to be able to meet that challenge. We're here to clean the world, and we're here to do it with you as part of your partnership and the way to the future. We've got great exposure, and we're learning as we go. I'll mention it at the very end, but I'm going to slot it in right now. 3 weeks ago, we set aside and said to the Stock Exchange, we're actually going to have a dedicated R&D system in our headquarters in Finland because we need to learn more, not just bolt things together and see if it works. We actually need to be thinking ahead to the next steps beyond. So here's where we go in our thoughts. Crisis preparedness, emergency response management, oil spills and doing this stuff. Managing bases, response facilities, setting up tier 2 and near tier 3 hubs around the world. Well, around the world, okay, that's a glib statement from me, but that's just because I've got this new job and it's part of it. But what we're doing right now in Lamor is we're setting up those facilities. We're early days on a major contract within Saudi Arabia for the Red Sea to set up national response capability. We're in early discussions on other similar setups around the world for different sovereign nations. But the Saudi example is giving us that lead and teaching us how we can go ahead. We've been there since 2021. We're there as part of the national strategy, and we partner with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's government. That's a pretty good way to be if you need to be learning, developing, and setting up these facilities. Is that relevant here? Yes, I absolutely believe it is, and it's within our ambition to take that type of relationship forwards. So on an equipment basis, yeah, we make equipment. I can't lie to you. I know we're a response organisation, the way I run my piece of the business, but our background is the fabrication of equipment, right from the start, from raw materials through to collecting oil out in the sea. And that's actually quite a good place to be if you separate the way and the attitude of the response side and the equipment side. It's allowed us to be what people need us to be. So when in the Gulf of Mexico we had the Macondo incident, we were called to arms along with all other manufacturers of equipment, and what can you do and how can you make this happen? Well, because of our network and because of our size, we were able to get big quick, as is the terminology of the oil company at the centre of it. We got big quick for them, as per their request. And we were able to mobilise 450 plus skimmers. We were able to put in 300 kilometres of boom for that one response. A lot of it stayed there, a lot of it ended up with the US government and it was distributed about, but we were able to put that in. We had our people stepping up and training just shy of 3,000 fishermen to be able to provide support. And the Lamor Corporation personnel remained on site for in excess of 130 days. Yeah, we're a response organisation. I recognise the time, so I'll play gentle with you on video cuts. So waste management is the next thing that I mentioned to you. We've really embraced this. We've taken on specialists. We've started to build our team. Well, we're not just started to build our team. Actually, we're 4 years into building that team and making great progress. Here is a facility, by example, for Guyana, set up there to handle what industry is throwing out, but also what oil majors are throwing out. So again, we're not just NEBA, we're not just net environmental benefit. We're not just covering up for what we're delivering. We're making sure that we consider. We work with a sovereign nation so as we can take things to the next step. We can return on that promise to clean the world, but we can also innovate to ensure what we're doing is integrated, fully integrated, and accepting that we take on from industry, we take on from municipalities, we take on from all sources, and it allows us to process waste, and it allows us to handle it in the most responsible way that we can get. Incident response and tier threes. Casing principle there for us is an example from the Peru spill at the latter part of last year, early this year, with the pipeline incident, which had us as a tier 3 event importing Lamorians from around the world, bringing in equipment to close need and use, and being able to apply that and put the strategies together so as the oil client was not only very, very happy with what we did, has actually adopted us in a big way to ensure that we keep doing it. So it's not about rolling in, just chucking a load of equipment in and getting things going. It's selecting the right equipment. It's making sure you harmonise with what's going on. I know we've said it countless times before, and any of you who are long enough in the tooth in the industry to remember the Hebe spirit at an interview that I gave on CNN, I spoke about handling things with nature. That's exactly what we do. I still stand by that, even though it felt really silly when I said it on CNN, but we do. So we operate with Mother Nature. We make sure the equipment, the people, the thoughts, and the strategies we put into play are actually enhancing what nature would do with the oil. So we think it through. We work those elements through all the way through. We don't get ourselves carried away just trying to throw equipment in and thinking that just putting people in place is good enough. So, oil spill in Peru, massive incident. A lot of oil recovered, a lot of oil spilt, and a lot of very, very diverse operations were carrying on throughout. Again, my promise to you, knowing that it's dinner, and if I stay on the stage too long, I will have to be a magician and a comedian, I believe, because that's what the program says. I'll move on from this point. So soil remediation, this is where it gets a little bit exciting. As I say, it takes me back to the mid-1980s working with people like Tim Linnell from AEA Technology in the UK and setting stuff up in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, I left all of that for a lot of my career. For 30 years, I didn't touch it, and then suddenly, here I am in Lamor, and we're doing much better than that and really making it work. So soil remediation, this is whether it's talking about the ground, whether we're talking about the shoreline, whether we're actually talking about historic dumping and old brownfield sites, or we're talking about land farming that didn't quite go well. This is a really cool thing to be able to do. I keep saying we're here to clean the planet. Well, we've made that part of our mission, and you've got to put your money where your mouth is. Well, fortunately, we've had Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has definitely put their money where their mouth is, and they're supporting this. So we're working on a major project in Kuwait. This remediation project that we've got right now is taking shape and is working and is developing exactly right. We are remediating what was left behind as legacy spills and legacy disposal and pits from the 1991 Gulf War. For me, this was where I sort of got into big oil. I was sent out as a, hey, would you go and do some work on this? I turned up, that's where I met BP, and from that point I joined big oil. My teammate Steve, he was on a slightly different side. He was on a grey-coloured ship with an American accent. But it's great to be able to see what you had in your formative years actually being put right. Not just being, we'll make do with it, we're now actually putting it right. So I said to you, that's really important here. Where's the relevance of what we're doing with India? Well, please suffer a little bit of video with me and I'll bring it into absolute context. And this is something I know we can do here. My chair is asking that I speed things up, so if I can find the system. Okay, alas, I've been asked to move on, but there is a very fine animation in that, and we'll try and make sure it's available on YouTube, where essentially we're recovering the material that you saw there through the contamination process. We are then adding into it processes that enable bioremediation, phytoremediation, certain amounts of bioaugmentation, and we're doing it in a really cool way. And we're using cow dung that we're exporting from India and we're importing into Kuwait. The last approach was 192 metric tons, and that will continue to go. So absolutely fantastic. You have such a great relationship with wildlife here. You have great relationship with livestock here, that what we're exporting is essentially planetary best. And it's doing such a great job in providing the nutrients, providing what is required to enhance that breakdown. So this is something where we, around the world, are not just manufacturing and made in India. We're actually taking things where we're developing real raw technology, but it comes from here. It gains the headlines, it gains the press. These are the processes that we're taking from here and is being seen by the world. It's a great place to be. So moving on, recycling solutions as well. I mentioned not being NEBA. NEBA's a good start point. It's being positive environmental benefits. So we're working right now, we've set up a plant in Porvoo in Finland, where we are taking in recycling. We're ensuring that the materials we bring in absolutely reuse, recover and recycle. We absolutely make sure that things that come in there go through chemical process to ensure they can be reused, to ensure that they've got a place in the future and that they're not just cleaned up, stacked up, shredded and again sent for landfill or stored until the world knows what to do with them. We as a company absolutely wrapped into sustainability. There is no bigger headline for us, the way we look at things and our promises that we make to the stock exchange. No need to read to you, this is all available in our annual reports, but we've absolutely set out to ensure any innovation that we have delivers on this right now. Sustainability is great, but when you get a badge for it and you're the first in Finland to get that badge and you're one of only about 5 or 6 companies on the planet to have that badge, I'm proud to say that Lamor Corporation has won the Nasdaq Green Equity designation, which just shows that our green credentials are not just give it a go, word of mouth, they're absolutely there and we take them forwards. So talking about taking things forwards, we've established a research and development centre built on all the findings we've got around the world to focus it on our own internal academy. we're planning to use, under my new employment, India as our primary operations hub as the development of our schemes going forwards. So we want to make sure that within our future we develop in India, we make in India, and we export and share the knowledge that we're going to be gaining in India. We're here to clean the world. We absolutely want to make sure that that stays our mission, and we want to be able to take you with us. This is not just about what we do, it's about sharing what we've done and what we've been put through with our client base and what we've learned from that and how we bring it back into our industry. So we're here to clean the world. Please join us on that mission. When talking about national responses, it's always been about the commercial response and the Coast Guard response or the state response. We're absolutely part of that wherever we go. I'm not going to make eye contact with our chairman because I know he's going to beckon me off. So that's essentially my mission. I just wanted to share with you what we've been up to and where its relevance is to the way that we plan on developing and the way that we are developing, and that our footprint here in India, where right now we're manufacturing with our partner Yeoman, and we're making sure that that's growing, and our facility in Bombay is the hub for our future. And I thank you so very much for putting up with me before dinner.
Oil Spill India 2022 is dedicated to the Honourable Prime Minister's Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and Clean Seas.